to Shake Up Groton version 2. It's a wonderfully crappy night out tonight, so get comfortable because this is another long show, another hour and a half, and we're going to educate you more on the things that are going on in Groton, you the Groton voters. I hope you listen to my song. Because it's a little hard to hear the second part. It says, "You cannot bring me down" is the second part. So I have my red shirt on tonight and my wonderful jacket to get the bulls going. Bulls are aggravated by red. I have a guest tonight. He's going to sit there until, I'm not introducing him yet, so hold on. And I want to say that this show is a show about facts. We're going to try to keep the emotion out of it. But I do, as the host, have the right to express my opinions, so I'm going to do that at times. I'm doing this show now because of the election coming up on November 7th. We're in very serious economic times in Groton due to what's going on in the state. They still, as of today, I said the last show, they're probably not going to have a budget by that show viewing, and they still don't have a budget. These are unprecedented times in the state and thus in Groton, and your finances are going to be severely affected if things don't go right. So that's why we're doing this, to educate you. And I'm warning you that there is a lot at stake here, and a lot personally at stake. So that's why we're educating you, because Groton's a very complicated place. So the first show, I educated you on the issues with Balfour Beatty, and we're going to be talking about tonight another issue similar to that one. I want to thank Dr. Grenier. He sent me a very nice thank you note. I hope you're watching tonight, Dr. Grenier. And let us hope that this show gives our new town manager, John Burt, a new council that's going to work with him and get things done, things of importance done, okay? This show repeats on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30. It's on Sunday at 8 o'clock. And it's also, the first show too, on YouTube. I don't know how they're going to, right now it says Shake Up Groton, but we're going to have something that says episode 1 and 2. I'm going to appeal for help still. We got some more help, but I need more. This is a lot of work. If you have any questions or want to volunteer, you can go to shakeupgroton@gmail.com. I believe you'll see that throughout the show. And I want to hear from you if you want these shows to continue after the election. So please email me. And I've been getting a lot of responses, so that's really great. Keep it up. The next show is on November 2nd at 6:30. Put that on your calendar. I'm hoping we will get the Democrats to show up. We hope. So far they say they are. And if we have time tonight, we will be opening up the phones. I don't think we're going to have time because we got a lot to go over. But and I'll give the phone number, and I think it'll be on the screen too if we do that. Again, we will, as the last show, we will have a rolling screen, and I have a little surprise for you as that screen goes by. So stay on. I want to remind you that the election is for the town council candidates and the RTM and the school board. And finally, you have to vote on November 7th. And if you're not registered, please get registered. This is the most important election to your pocketbook, more important than the presidential election. So please vote. Okay, as of today, Connecticut still has no budget, and Groton we have a shortfall of $12.5 million. Right now, Groton's been warned that we're in danger of losing our bond rating, which means if we have to go borrow money, we will be paying more for it. So I would like to warn you of that. That means that if you go for a mortgage, you have to pay more. The town will have to pay more if that bond rating gets degraded by Moody's. I want to bring up some send-ins from some people who emailed me. I don't know who they are. So could we show the first exhibit? Okay, this is from a resident, I assume, and it shows a Groton citizen who is in a boat. The boat is sinking, and there's a hole in it, and it's got shark fins around it. You can read around that, and it says Balfour Beatty. It says the city of Groton. It said Oddfellows Home. It says the Noank Garden, public garden, redundant services, and you can see up in the corner there is the ship, and it's coming towards the guy, and it's the state of Connecticut who's heading towards us if things don't get resolved. But I'm going to tell you, things are not going to get resolved. The $3.5 billion debt is going to continue probably till the day we all die. So we've got to fess up to this for a long time to come. So how can Groton combat this so it does not hurt you? Well, we discussed last week some of the ways that can happen. By getting these organizations that aren't paying taxes to pay, by cutting costs. We can combine redundant services between the city of Groton and the town and Groton Long Point. We can combine just not only services, but we can literally combine our governments. I've even suggested a merger between other surrounding towns. How do you like the name Grotington, okay? If Stonington and Groton combine, we should talk about it. I know it's a little bit of a wild idea, but we should talk about it. We can contract out services such as IT and such, public works maintenance, that type of thing. And we can go to bid. And I'm going to keep repeating this, town attorney. We never go to bid. And I'm going to talk more about that. We can increase revenue to the town. We have corporate deadbeats in Groton, and I'm going to go through the second one tonight. They're not paying their fair share of taxes, and this is wrong. And when they don't pay, I showed you all the charts last week, the last show, and when they don't pay, you have to pay, okay? And the other biggie, and I want to do a show on it still, is economic development. EB is hiring 10,000 people. 80% leave every night. They don't spend their money here. Very serious problem. EB is expanding their infrastructure. Last I heard, they're going to spend $1 billion on infrastructure for the new fast attacks. And if they get the boomer boats, the missile boats, are going to be upping that to $3 billion. This is wonderful stuff. So I have a surprise for you here tonight. I have our mayor of the town of Groton, Mayor Bruce Flax. I'd like to introduce him. Welcome, Mayor.
Good evening. Thank you, Gretchen.
Thank you. And I want you to go a little bit into your background. Tell us where you been? How did you get here?
So I've been in Groton since 1994. Actually, 95. I moved to Stonington first. When I came down here to work at Foxwoods Resort Casino, and I've been there, employed there for 23 years. I am a graduate of George Washington University.
What did you major in?
In business.
Business. Okay.
Yep. I've been the director of ticket operations at Foxwoods. The whole time, I really moved up from manager to director, so I'm director of ticket operations and entertainment marketing, working in the entertainment department. Married, 5 kids in Groton, all have or are going through the Groton school system. Love the area, been on council for 9 years, I've been mayor this is my 2nd year, and have enjoyed that very much. I really feel it's one of my civic duty to serve, and being an unpaid volunteer for the town. I like to think I am always doing what's best for the town. So,
could you please explain? And I'm going to call you Bruce. Is that
that's
okay?
fine.
Okay.
Yes.
And you can call me Gretchen. Tell the people of Groton how the role of mayor, it's very confusing to people, how that differs between the city and the town.
Yeah, so the whole town is confusing, really, for those who don't live in it, and even for some who do live in it. The town of Groton has a a town manager form of government, and they are the mayor is elected by the council. So we do not have a strong mayor. It's the town manager who runs the town, and he reports to the council. The RTM is the fiscal arm of the town, and they are responsible really ultimately for all spending. The city of Groton is a borough. They also have a council and a strong mayor who is also the director or runs Groton Utilities. They own a utility company. Right. So they have a 7-person council, I believe, strong mayor. The 10,000 people or so who live in the city are town residents. I think people sometimes lose sight of that. They do live in the town. They do pay town taxes. And then they also pay a mill rate to the borough. They have many, throughout the years, they have their own police. They have their own public works department. They also have their own parks and rec. They have planning and zoning. And they're, they're not one of the 169 recognized municipalities, but they are a form of government in the town, and they're a very important piece, and they need to be respected, and that's it. And then there's Groton Long Point, which is another borough, also has a police department, also has a public works department. So we're a unique town.
Yeah, I get kind of a headache listening to all that because we're going to talk about that, okay? So I think for transparency, I want to give the following too. Bruce is a Republican. Well, this got put up. It's not quite when I wanted it. Could you take it off? Okay, let me finish my background a little bit. I'm a registered Republican, so I'm the same as Bruce, but I think by the end you'll see that doesn't make any difference. My background, I think, is important for you to know. I'm a lifelong resident of Groton. I went to Fitch High School. I went to Worcester Polytech. I majored in mechanical engineering. I worked locally at where Mohegan Sun was. It was we built reactors for the submarines. I was head of welding there. Had a lot of people under me. Then I went to the Sound Lab in New London. I managed a major program there, wide aperture array, and got the first one built, which is on every submarine now. I had a lot of people working under me there. Then I went and got my MBA from the Wharton School. I got a degree, 3-way degree in finance, marketing, and real estate. I then worked for the Disney family. I went all over the world. We bought companies. We turned them around, companies that were in trouble. We didn't end up buying. We looked at buying Polaroid. I studied Polaroid all over the world. So that was my profession, was how to turn companies around, okay? And I want to explain that I am the messenger of fact. It is my duty to everyone watching to show the facts, okay? I am not the creator of these facts, so do not blame me for what they are. I did not create them. And I will, as I said before, I will at times give conclusion and summarizations based on those facts. And I think it's my show. I'm the producer. I have the right to give some opinion here. And I do have some expertise in some of these areas. I want to show you what was brought up before, another cartoon that was sent to me. It was extremely well done. Could we bring that up, please? Okay. And I think it's self-explanatory. It shows a big fat pig that I'm going to name Wilbur. And it shows he has tattoos all over him. And it's showing that he is going after the people who are the Groton businesses and residents, and they're saying they got to get out of here. The pig has a blindfold on, meaning that these entities aren't listening to the residents. And he has earplugs in his ear because he's not listening or seeing. You can drive downtown Groton and see that things aren't so good. So, and I often wonder, and I'm getting calls that people in our government don't see this. And his hatchet is the property taxes. That is what's tearing us apart. People cannot survive with the property taxes going up as they are. So, very, very nice, thank you. I appreciate it. Keep sending them in. Okay. Due to request by a viewer, I'm going to continue discussion from the last show about corporate deadbeats in Groton. And the mayor, he can chime in on this. I'm sure he will. I'm going to talk about the Oddfellows situation that's going on, who I consider another corporate deadbeat in Groton. And I mean deadbeat, I mean they're not paying their fair share of taxes. Okay? Now, I know I promised to cover economic development. This has impact on economic development, and we will get to it. I'm trying to get another show added on. This matter is super important, as well as Balfour Beatty. And we're not going to attract investors to Groton if we give entities such as Balfour Beatty and Oddfellows a total tax exemption. It's, you think about it, the area, almost our whole northern part of our town is tax exempt. Okay? You think, you know where Oddfellows is, it's right near the base, and you got all the Navy housing. They're huge areas, and they're not paying anything. So I hope Frank in there has the crash cart ready, because this subject gets me really going. Remember, I'm Italian, so I get kind of upset easily. The mayor will agree with that. So this issue has a lot to do with the present town council and the state financial crutch. Let me explain. When the state has brought this terrible thing on our towns, it means all the weaknesses in the town are coming to light. Okay, so it's bringing out these issues that should have been taken care of over the years. And I don't know if the mayor is going to address that, but we got away with a lot for many years. We were spoiled. Okay, now that we have a financial crunch, it's bringing these weaknesses to light. Okay, and I think this council for this election has a lot of explaining to do. Okay, and I want Mayor Flax, please don't bring up the litigation. I'm well aware of the litigation that's going on, and that has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about. So I know you can't talk about it. But we got to this point, and I'm going to talk about issues that got us to this point. Okay, let's bring up a letter from Charles Stevens. Who is Charles Stevens? Can we bring up the next exhibit? Oh, wait. Oh, we kind of skipped something. The Charles Stevens letter, number 3A. Okay, this is a letter from a man who was appointed by the council. He is the head of, he's a volunteer. He's the head of the Board of Tax Review. He wrote a very detailed letter. I don't know if you can read it on the screen, so I'll help with that. And I'm going to go through the history of what happened here. In 1893, the state of Connecticut, a long time ago, for some reason, included a property tax exemption for Oddfellows of $100,000 back then. And that number increased by our state legislature. Our state legislature is telling Groton what to do. It makes no sense. So they increased it in 1925, 1943, 1953, 1973, 1982, and 2012. And in 2012, they increased the exemption. Let me explain that to your house. We went through this last show. You have an appraiser come in. It's done or the town assessor, like an appraiser. Every 4 years, I believe it's done. And they come in and determine how much your house is worth compared to your neighbors. So when that number exceeds $25 million for Oddfellows home, they start paying taxes. But it hasn't exceeded $25 million. So they haven't been paying taxes for the life of the operation. So they went ahead and they've added on. They've built 55 and older housing, and their valuation went above $25 million. So State Senator Summers, Heather Bond Summers, introduced a bill, number 377, as he says in his letters, to increase the exemption to $35 million. This is unbelievable. I don't know where she's coming from. So he goes on to say, in practical terms, the Fairview complex was exempt from Groton properties from 1893 to 2011. So we've been charging taxes to them since then on the amount that's above the 25 million exemption, okay? I don't know what the present valuation is. So we can assume that they're worth $25 million minimally right now, okay? I'm sure it's a higher number than that. And let's say, for discussion purposes, that it is valued at 25 million. If you take our present mill rate and you multiply it, divide it by 1,000, multiply it times the mill rate, they should be paying us $600,000 a year. Why are they not paying that? I am totally puzzled.
May I?
Go ahead,
Okay.
Mayor.
So the Oddfellows was 25 million, and I believe it went over 25 million of assessed value in 2015.
Okay.
And so the discussion then became, are they taxed on $25 million in one, or are they taxed on all 25 million plus? And Oddfellows, of course, felt that they were taxed on the intent of the special act was that they would be taxed on 25 million in $1, the $1 plus over, not starting from $1. And so there was a disagreement with the town, and the town sent them a tax bill for the entire amount in 2015 and 2016, and Oddfellows then initiated a lawsuit arguing that the special act covered 25 million in one,
Right.
not 1 to 25 million.
Right,
Okay.
got it. Okay. So I'm going to continue with Charles Stevens' letter here. And he goes on to say, in the years since 1893, many things have changed at Oddfellows. They have much more than the nursing home. It no longer requires membership to go there. They have built a 55 and older housing unit. They have a beautiful restaurant. You're going to see pictures of that. I'm going to show you at the end. They have a bar. They have entertainment there. So it's nothing like it used to be. So this should all change. He says in here there are 24 assisted living units, 40 independent dwelling units, a clubhouse. So yeah, they have a clubhouse with a swimming pool. So he says here, I'm astonished to learn that Senator Summers had introduced a bill completely against the interests of Groton taxpayers. Her original bill, number 377, would have put Fairview completely back in a tax-free status and negated the current litigation completely in favor of Fairview and required Groton taxpayers to repay any taxes. This is unbelievable. I mean, back the last 5 years, we would have had to give money back, right?
Yeah, not all that is true. Again, the debate is what the special act says, and there's a lawsuit. Would have been a lawsuit. Well, there is a lawsuit right now, and there's no guarantee that the town of Groton would win, and if there was jobs at stake at Oddfellows, and the last thing that we wanted to see were jobs leaving the town.
Well, I think that's absolutely minimal, the job loss, and I don't believe that they'll ever.
I saw the stack of letters that were written to the senator's office from people who were concerned about jobs. There was probably 150 letters or more. So, you can say you doubt it, but there was proof I'm sure she'd be happy to present the letters to you.
Well, they don't pay any taxes, so why should? And by the way, they get services. Okay, I didn't go through like I did with Balfour Beatty. They get, if there's a fire there, they get police services there. Now, they're not children intensive. There's no children, I don't believe, living there, so they don't have the education budget. But they're getting all the services, and they pay nothing. So we're caring about a few people. Who knows? Those 150 people may be people who live there, and their friends and neighbors there, who they got them to write letters. Very easy to do. So you can't you got 150 people, but you got 40,000 Groton residents who are suffering because
Well,
they're not paying
you also have a special
taxes.
act that, Senator Summers didn't write the special act.
Get rid
The
of it.
special act was there. Okay,
Get rid of it. Senator Summers could put a bill in, instead of this lousy thing she wrote, she could write a bill that eliminates the thing in 1893 and says, you're going to pay taxes. And I'm going to show you later where there are many of these organizations
we're
in
very well aware
Connecticut,
of them
and we're
all.
going to show that, okay? That's coming up. And they're all paying taxes.
we're
They don't
very
get
aware
the
of it.
special privilege. They get no special. And I'm going to conjecture that Senator Summers is, I bet you if I went and looked at her donations, that a lot of them live in there. I'm going to conjecture
you said
that.
you go that big, yeah, you're dealing
Pardon?
with fact. You said you were going to deal with fact, and now you're
I
going to
can
pure conjecture. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to
All right.
conjecture that
All
she
right.
has voters. She's after voters, okay? And she divides and conquers. And this is just plain. And the thing you're supposed to be protecting, us Groton citizens. I don't care if she's a fellow Republican. I'm a fellow
I don't care
Republican.
either. I'm protecting the citizens of the town of
Yes,
Groton.
and that's what you should be.
That's
and
exactly what
and
I'm
we
doing.
have two. We have Conley, what's
And
her
De La
name?
Cruz. Yeah, Conley.
And De La Cruz, who both can work on legislation at the state level, and you should be encouraging them to get rid of this unfair situation.
I will tell you that Senator Summers in the upcoming budget has got us an additional $1 million in pilot money. She's working for the citizens of Groton.
Let me tell you, I went through $600,000 is what they should be paying a year. $1 million, and in 2 years
That's
of
not
paying
true.
taxes.
That's not true.
Mayor, I can do the simple arithmetic.
Yeah, but
okay?
that's only if there's no special act, Gretchen, and there's a special
We
act.
don't need a special act. There should be no special act. They shouldn't get special privilege. There's no reason why
But
they
that's
should
not
be
what the
treated.
question is. You're saying that that's what they're paying. There's a special act that says they don't pay it. So
Get rid of the
you can-
special
okay,
act.
so that's a separate
Okay?
issue, though.
You know, we're going to show other entities throughout Connecticut
Mm-hmm.
who aren't doing this, and they're the same. They're what are called a CCRC, and we will show them. So you're questioning Charles Stevens, who we all know is a very bright man. Okay?
I'm not saying he isn't a bright
Okay.
man. Yeah, I'm not saying
All
he
right.
isn't.
Well, you and your council did ignore what he was asking for here. Okay? So,
He's the chair of the Board of Assessment Appeals, right?
so he knows taxes very
Isn't that
well.
it's a bit of a conflict. Just in
Well,
my opinion, it's a bit of a conflict to be the
I think
board-
he's a citizen of Groton. He has every right to
Well,
speak up, as you do,
we
as
could-
I do.
We could debate that.
Okay,
but
and he's a bright guy.
I'm
I just
not,
care
I'm
about
not arguing
bright.
that he's a bright guy.
So we're going to go on. I wrote a letter myself. I'm not going to go through it. It's not going to be on TV to the state legislators
Mm-hmm.
to tell them to vote no, and they didn't. She actually asked for 35 million, and then she backordered and went down to.
We saw the ask for 35 million, and because the wording was changed on the proposed,
Right.
and it went up to, it said assessed value, which really would have made it a $35 million limit,
Okay.
and we had that taken out.
Right, so they have
We're
the
watching.
protection of 25 million, right, but they should be paying the full boat. There's no reason whatsoever why they should get, it's a loophole, that's all it is. And
But it's a
at-
loophole that we didn't create.
Well,
and
you
it's-
can undo.
We
They
can undo
can.
it.
You can't directly, but you can recommend to your fellow Republicans up in Hartford to work for us, the
Yeah,
citizens.
it's a 100-year-old act that's
Don't
been in.
care.
Well, okay.
Don't care.
You may
Irrelevant,
not care,
okay?
but it's easier said, it's just easier said than done.
Try.
Easier
Try.
said than done. We're working
Try.
for the people of the town of Groton.
No, you're not.
We
If you're
are.
letting, there's $600,000 a year, if you do the simple arithmetic with our mill rate, if the whole thing was taxed.
Okay, if
That's
my
a lot
mother,
of money.
if
Go ahead.
is a big word. The if is the issue.
But you didn't try.
we
That's
are
the
we are
point.
working with Oddfellows to work it out, and that's what we can't talk about.
Right. So we're going to go on
This
to show
council
the
is working
actual.
for you.
We're going to show the actual legislation that we're referring to. An act amending the charter of the Oddfellows Home of Connecticut. I don't know why it says that. It shows the 25 million. It shows where could we bring up number 4A? Okay, it shows on line 3 that she wants to change it. This is a bill, if you look at the top, introduced by Senator Summers. This is unbelievable that she wanted to even jump it up further. From 25 to 35?
She didn't want to bump it up from 25 to 35.
Well, then what's bill number 377?
Well, the number was changed before or after, and as soon as she saw it, it was.
Why
it
did
was
she attempt to do
fixed.
this? Let her explain
But
that.
she's not here,
There's
so
no,
you're-
there's
you're-
no sense to this. She put a bill in initially where she wanted to jack it up to 35 million.
That's not true.
Okay? So, well, folks, you see it right
What-
there in black and white.
What
on
did it end
TV.
up being?
Irrelevant. She
It
asked
isn't
for
irrelevant. What did it end up
Well,
being?
it shouldn't be 25 million. It shouldn't be anything.
Again, if and shoulds, you're.
No business in Groton gets, except for Balfour Beatty, gets an exemption of anything like that. We have other nursing homes in Groton. They all pay their full boat.
No,
Why
they don't.
should
They don't. Not, that's not true. They
Why
do not
should
pay their
they-
full boat.
Why should they?
The
They pay
nonprofit, the
something.
right, okay, but that's not a full boat.
Well, they should
Something-
pay
Pilot
some.
money is not a full boat.
But they should pay
Okay,
something,
but we're dealing
Mayor.
with facts. I'm not saying they shouldn't pay something, and we're working towards that. But you're saying they should pay a full boat, and they're not. They're not paying a full boat, especially those that are nonprofits. They're not paying a full boat. And
Do the arithmetic from 1893 to now and figure out how much they haven't paid us, how much Groton has lost.
that's irrelevant.
Okay?
It's irrelevant.
I don't know how it's irrelevant. It's people.
Because we have nothing to do. We can't control that. We're not. Your ifs and shoulds are. We deal with fact. The fact of the matter is that we are working with them to work out a pilot deal. That's all we can say, and that we are working towards it for the people in Groton. And what you're saying with regards to others, I hope you do put it up because they're not paying their other nursing homes, especially those that are nonprofit,
Well, we're
are not
gonna
paying their full
show-
boat.
we're
Good, you
gonna
should show
show
it because
names.
it will say what.
Okay, let's show the Office of Fiscal Analysis came up, and they're showing, and I just want this to go through quickly, number 4B, or no, I'm sorry, number 5. Can we get number 5 up? Okay. And that shows that they did an analysis. They say near the bottom there that we're seeing a loss of approximately 240,000. I'm going to argue with that number. If they were fully taxed, it would be around 600,000. So this is proof that we're losing a lot of money here. Okay.
But you say 600, they say 240.
If they were taxed 100%, this is simple arithmetic.
No, I know, but
Bruce.
they wouldn't be taxed 100%.
Why
Gretchen.
not? And that's what I want the voter. This is all about the voter, okay? The voter has to make that decision. If you think that's important, I do, then you decide. This is what we're giving the voter. The mayor here doesn't think that's important.
Well, now you're
Okay.
putting words in my mouth. I didn't say I didn't think it was important.
I
said
think
that
they
it's-
should be taxed 100%, okay? There's no reason why they should continue to get this 1890-something special privilege when they have entertainment, they have a bar, they have everything there. They're
the
serving the
Special
public.
Act was redone by Senator over in Stonington, who's not there anymore, who Heather replaced. It was redone. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I'm sure people out there know it. He redid the Special Act sloppily, and it ended up with that loophole in it about it was unclear.
Well, we
and
have-
that opened up the books for it to have to come up in this session this year.
Okay, well,
if it had been done properly a few years ago, we wouldn't have this issue. And the fact of the matter is that if they were non-exempt, and if you tax them fully, it would be 600,000. But that's not reality. Reality is that they are tax exempt. There is a special act, and that's the way that it is.
Well,
so,
Mayor, the way government works is you have representatives. We have representatives in Hartford. We have 3 of them from this area,
yes.
and they can introduce
work very hard for us.
legislation to change, and that should have been encouraged. Okay, so let's go on. Bring up number 6, please. Number 6. Okay, I referred to that there's other entities in Groton that don't get this special privilege. These are called CCRCs, Caregiving Resource Center. There's 19 of them. There are, because I know one of these in
do you have a copy for me
Masonic
so
Care.
I can follow along?
Well, it's a list of names.
I know.
Okay, and they say there's a column that says if they pay taxes or not.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Okay, and there's 19 of them. And there's one in Cook Hill. It doesn't give towns, unfortunately, what towns they're in. Cook Hill Road, I don't know what town they're in, and they're the only other one that does not, besides Oddfellows, is listed on here. This is very valuable. And so why aren't these other entities that are identical?
I do have that sheet. I wish I had brought it with me. It came from Mary Gardner, the tax assessor, who works in our town.
Right.
And there is, I'm not sure if that's the most updated one, but there are several that are starred on the one that I had that were the ones that were 503C or excuse me, tax exempt, were not paying the full amount, and the ones that were for profit were. Now you can argue it any way you want to, but Oddfellows is a 50, I don't know the numbers. I'm sorry, but 503C, 501C, nonprofit entity, and that makes a big difference.
I'm sure many of these are nonprofit.
There was only 3 on the list that Mary had given us.
They are CCRCs, is a designation by the state.
May I take a look?
That they're caregiving. Well, I want to move. Can we move on?
It's
Because we
up
got
to your show.
we got a long
All
way
right.
to go.
I'm
Okay. Next, number 7A, we have a letter from Mary Gardner. She says here, I will quote from it. It's dated February 15th. She is our town assessor. She's the one who goes in and gives valuations to these entities. And it says here, and I believe she was asked by the town manager, who was Mark Ofinger at the time, and he does the work for the council. And I'm here to state that Groton is not in favor of this bill and asks that you not support it. Here's our own town assessor saying not to support this. She says this is an important issue that is very important to the town. Okay? Our town assessor is saying this. She goes through the history of it, and it's 70 acres, by the way. It's big. Okay? And as I said, our whole northern part of our town is not paying taxes. So, let's move on. I want to show you some of the things down there, because there's another impact from this. When you don't pay taxes, it means that you can provide your services at a lower rate. You have an advantage over all other businesses in the town. So they have a wonderful restaurant there. I went there a week and a half ago.
How was the food?
Well, I don't want to badmouth it, but
All right.
I wasn't overly thrilled. But it's very considered a very fancy place. It has a big, huge bar. You'll see pictures of it. So let's bring up they have a thing called Grill. It's called Grill 92, the restaurant. And I want to show some of the pricing on here, because the pricing. Where in the world can you buy prime rib at a very high-end restaurant for $21?
That's why it was bad quality, maybe. Maybe they're not buying the top of the line rib.
Irrelevant. They're competing against people in the private sector. We're trying to attract restaurants. We had a study done that says we have a shortage of this kind of stuff. We're not going to attract investors when they do their due diligence and see that they can't compete against these prices. Okay? So hazelnut chicken, $18. Shrimp Florentine, shrimp. I had shrimp. We'll show it in the menu. It was incredibly inexpensive.
I know why it's
$14.
Because it's for their residents.
No, you can go there.
I know I can go there,
You're
but I'm not sure
absolutely
I'm
wrong.
going
There were
to.
many non-residents there. No, it's not.
I'd much rather
it's
go
for
to,
the rest of us. Okay, that is absolutely incorrect.
I'd rather go to Pizzetta.
Let's call a spade, Mayor. You know, anybody can go there. It's open to the public.
Yeah, but-
Okay, let's bring the menu up. Come on, let's keep rolling here.
We've got a lot to cover.
We have a lot to cover. Okay, the appetizer. Let's get to the next page that shows the entrees. Okay, veal. We all know how expensive veal is. Veal marsala, $13.75. You tell me where you can find veal marsala for $13.75 anywhere.
L&M Hospital. At the cafeteria.
Matter of fact, the person I was with said she thinks the chef came from a hospital.
You can see.
Curried shrimp, $14.25. I had that. Okay, cheap. Okay, shrimp scampi, one of my favorites, $13.50.
How much did you eat there?
I didn't get the shrimp scampi. I only got the curry shrimp. The person I was with, they got the veal marsala, okay? If you go to, what's the place across the street from
Steak Hall?
99? What's her name? The fancy restaurant.
Oh, Bravo.
Bravo. She cannot charge those kind of rates. She cannot.
Olio,
okay?
that's it. Olio. Thank you, camerawoman.
Oleos. Thank you. Her prices are much higher because she can't compete against this because she has to pay taxes. So Groton's big on, I believe this council is big on economic development. I'm going to tell you, when you have prices like this, and I'm going to tell you, any restaurateur developer is going to do due diligence and figure this out, and they're going to have a hard time justifying to come here. Okay, so it's a multi-edged sword. We're not only not making the money off of them, they're hurting our economic development.
Well, the people who come here, who you're talking about, are going to have to be a nonprofit and have a special act written. I don't think that's
exactly
going to happen. Right. So
yeah, that's right.
You're safe.
No, but the point is, anybody can go there. In the past, it wasn't like that. It's changed, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Where are we going
Let's
next?
get to the climax. We haven't gotten to the good part,
I can't wait.
okay? Let's bring up number 10. Okay, here's the good part. This is where you come in.
Yes.
This is the part where
It's
you
the
come
letter
in.
that I wrote.
Yeah, your signature and dear old Marco
Yes.
finger.
I have the letter right here. I
Okay.
think.
We would like to express the town of Groton's opposition to the proposed bill number 377. That's all I have to read. Okay, this is a letter to the members of the Planning and Development Committee, which is a subcommittee of the House and the Senate up in Hartford. And our council said, don't vote number 377 in. Okay, then I'm sure you have the next letter.
We wrote another letter.
Yeah.
Yes.
April 26th, so what, about a month and a half later, they say, ignore the first letter. We're not gonna, we're working on a pilot plan, okay? How can you go from saying ignore the bill to saying ignore us? And I'm going to make a conjecture here that
All right.
you had
This isn't fact,
your
just
state. This is
conjecture.
me, okay?
Yes.
Our state senator Summers went and read the riot act to our council and said, "What are you doing? Let me handle it. Okay, it's my bill. Stay out of it." And these folks are supposed to support us. Okay, care about us. They're not state government. She is, okay? And I believe, and he's never going to admit it, that she said stay out of it. So they wrote a letter to rescind the first letter. So I'm sure the mayor's got all kinds of reasons to support.
I think my point would be that your conjecture is that I don't think no matter what I say, I'm going to lose on your end because you've told me what I'm going to say, and you've told me, that I can't. I don't know. I can tell you that we had several sessions, found out additional information, and realized that we were getting ourselves involved in lawsuits that weren't 100% guaranteed, and we felt that we were better serving the citizens of Groton by working on a pilot deal, which would be guaranteed money. And the fact of the matter is that the other way to go held no guarantees either way.
Okay, well, this isn't in my notes, but it's coming to my mind.
So you're going off script.
I'm ad-libbing here, okay? Back when my house burned down in Mystic, I was sued by the town of Groton. I believe you were on the council back then, so you probably, I don't know how you voted.
Is this about the chimney?
I was sued twice, okay? And I don't want to get into detail.
Okay.
So they had no trouble suing me. I got hit by a Hurricane Katrina. My home was burnt down to the ground by an arsonist who's still in jail, okay, and got convicted.
How deep are we going here?
And we're going to just go to that.
All
They
right.
had no problem with a lawsuit then over something so ridiculous because it made fees for our town attorney. They drummed up business for them. But here's something that made nothing for the town.
You went to Wharton Business School,
I know.
right?
I brought nothing.
You went-
nothing.
Wharton?
Yes, I said that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're going to tell me that you're going to say that all lawsuits are created equal? You want to compare that lawsuit to your lawsuit
Of
and
course,
saying one you're
of
scared and
course.
one you...
That one made
that would
no
be-
money for the town, no money. There was nothing to be made. That was strictly making money for our town attorneys. But you tell me you're afraid of a lawsuit that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to Groton.
I didn't say I was
Okay.
afraid of it. I said that
Well-
we were looking at the amount of money that's going to be spent and what the outcome possibly could be. And
Well, there's
that
a
we
way
have-
around that. Change state legislation.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
lawsuits. Okay? But some reason to Senator Summers, this is an unpopular subject because she must have friends in there. She must have friends at
I'm
Balfour
going to tell you
Beatty.
again, Senator Summers works very hard for the people of this town. Very hard.
Yeah, well, she works hard to somehow hurt Groton, and nobody understands why.
Well, you bring up, I mean, you want to bring up one issue
a
that you
big
feel
one.
she didn't. Well, there's a ton of
We
them.
have, let me sum up on this issue. We
All right.
have the Oddfellows Home joining the club of corporate deadbeats with Solar City too, okay? No Ink Public School Gardens, another one, okay? I'm not going to get into that one. I think the
I'm
mayor.
ready. I'm
No,
happy to
we're
talk
not going to
about
get
the
into that
gardens.
one. That's a whole nother can of worms where we had a school shut down and
Did you attend every meeting of the No
Senator
Ink
Summers
Gardens?
kowtowed. You know, I know this mayor is for, he always says, I'm for all of Groton.
I am.
Well, what happened there helped a few people in No Ink, okay? Because they didn't want, I don't know what they didn't want, but I guarantee you, if we built something that Oddfellows built, 55 and older
Mm-hmm.
housing, we would probably make, I think it's about 8 acres approximately, we would make about $200,000 a year. That's $200,000 that you are paying and somebody else isn't. So that the few people in No Ink who probably all have yards, so they can plant some
That's
tomato
that's the
bushes
pot
for 3
calling the
months
kettle
of the
black,
year.
Gretchen.
Okay?
Why don't you,
All right.
I mean, there's plenty
I
of
don't
properties.
garden there. What are you
but
talking
have,
about?
You have plenty of properties that you could sell. You choose, you want the right time to sell them. You want to sell them to the right person.
What's the relevancy to that?
I'm going to tell you that the No Ink, where the No Ink school was, is a prized property. It overlooks the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
There are no parks anywhere near there around No Ink, and it's controlled by the zoning of No Ink. And so during the meetings that took place with the No Ink School Reuse Task Force, which I led, which went on for 15 months, which I didn't see you at any meetings, there was discussions, the zoning changed during that, and the No Ink controlled the zoning.
Mayor, in the beginning, and I believe we can go find that, you were against this whole thing. You were against it.
I thought that in the beginning,
Okay.
you're right,
Yeah.
when we first
Right.
came out, and
But somebody got to you.
Nope, that's
and
not
we can all
true.
guess who that was.
that's not
okay?
true. I'm going to tell you that you keep throwing accusations out, which isn't fair. I'm here to answer your questions, and so you can tell me what I'm thinking, but that's just what you're telling me. It's not what I'm thinking. I can tell you the facts.
Okay, let's get on to taxes then. Let's talk
You want
about
to skip?
facts on
Want to get
taxes.
off the No Ink?
We're going to get off of
All
knowing
right.
because it's just another one
If
of
we
the
maybe have
corporate.
time at the end, we can go back to
It's
it.
just another one. Okay, let's go to Town of Groton mill rate. We're going to have fun with this one. Okay, let's bring the graph up. Okay, you saw this on the last show when we had the
The ski slope.
the ski slope. And I know the mayor's going to have fun with this. He doesn't realize that I'm, a mathematician and I can do simple arithmetic.
Trust me, I know you're way smarter than I am.
Yeah, he keeps telling me that. But I'm not as good a politician as you. I guarantee.
Oh,
You
I'm
got
not
me.
sure that's
You
a
got me
compliment.
beat there.
Thanks. You know how to
Okay.
throw a
Okay, you got me
backhanded
beat.
compliment.
All right. So you can see it's a ski slope upward. All right. We just went up 8.7% in July because of the state issues. So now we have a mill rate that's 23.63. So let's get to the next chart.
It's 23.19, right? Not 23.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now you go.
You're
there
right.
you go.
You're right. Okay. Now,
Now it's
we showed these
23.63,
backwards. Okay. 23.63. That's the Town of Groton mill rate. Right. So let's go to the percentage change. The cumulative, I'm sorry. So we changed this from the last show because we showed it and a lot of people didn't understand it. So this is cumulative over 5 years. Remember, the mayor's been around for a long time.
Nine years.
So he's been around since this pretty uphill thing has happened. Okay, so if you average this, okay, so we've gone up since 2011 to 2016, we've gone up 23.19%. So if you average that, divided by 5, pretty simple, it averages to a 4.63% increase. Now, I like to know how many of you in your jobs have gotten a 4.63% increase every single year. I haven't. I'm sure the mayor has in his job.
As you said to me,
Yeah.
it all depends how you slice it.
And I know where he's going to go next. So
Tell me.
Go next. You want me to tell you?
Well, we're going to talk about town spending.
Yeah.
And the town budget.
Right.
Yes.
So maybe I'll take the words right out of your mouth.
Go for it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because I watched your 5-minute thing on Groton television. Okay?
How'd I look?
And you looked wonderful. But
Thank
you
you.
even look better tonight. You matched the background on
Right?
the TV.
I really planned ahead.
Yeah, you look great. So he's going to say, and I may not have the numbers about
Here,
exactly.
why don't you take this? You can throw it
Well,
up there.
I may not have it exactly
go.
right, but in 2018, he's going to claim that
Not claim, it's
he
fact.
cut the budget by 5-point-something%.
5.5.
5.5. And then in 2017, he's going to claim he cut the. Now, this is the non-school part, right? This is the part that you control.
Let me say it because you're beating around the bush.
I am.
In 2018, the town spending, that's the money spent on the town budget, was down 1.8%. In 2017, it was down 5.5%. The fact of the matter is that our mill rate is going up right now because we built in a $5 million revenue loss anticipating what the state was going to cut. We didn't know. Now, I will tell you that I talked to Senator Formica today, and I'm going to get this word wrong, but Groton is labeled it's not distressed, but it has something to do with the schools. And they can't lower, by being labeled that, they can't lower our ECS funding. So the budget that's being proposed by the Republicans and Democrats, that hopefully is going to get passed, not only makes us whole on ECS funding, it gives us an additional $1 million in pilot funds. So yes, my point is that the council has made sure that spending is down, that we're watching the pennies that are being spent, but we can't control the revenue that we're being shipped to from Hartford. Those you have to talk to your state legislators about.
Okay. Can I talk now?
It's your show.
Yeah. All right.
Where are we
It's all
going?
smoke and mirrors.
It isn't smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, okay. Because when I grew up here. I've been living in Groton longer than anybody. Any of these counselors, maybe not Harry, I don't know, but pretty much longer than anybody. When I grew up, Groton was 48,000 people, okay? And now we're down to 40,000, and that tells you a lot. And we have a fraction. We know the grand list is reduced. I'm sure the mayor can tell you even the percentage. I don't know the percentage, but it's down. They've all saying it. They're not denying it. So we're losing grand lists. That's the amount of taxable property in Groton. And we can talk about population. People are leaving. It's very simple. That's what those cartoons showed, I believe. The one with the pig shows that they're leaving.
I want to know who that artist was.
He's pretty good, wasn't he?
Super.
Yeah. So they have to reduce. If you want the mill rate to stay the same, you got to have a little mathematical mind here. If you want the mill rate to stay the same, it means that they have to cut back the same amount that people that they have to cut back. People are leaving faster than what they've cut back on costs. Okay, so people are leaving. Businesses are leaving much faster than they've cut back. Okay, and that's why he can claim what he's claiming.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, there he is. There's Wilbur. And that's why people are, and if they keep leaving, this is going to get worse. This
Gretchen,
situation is going to get worse.
if a person leaves the town, their house is still there and they're still paying taxes on it. If a business leaves, if Benny's leaves the plaza, I'm quite positive that Chris Regan is going to do something positive there. But the building is still there, and there are still taxes being paid on that building.
The taxes go down. You have personal property. Look, you're talking to the person who's been taxed to death.
Okay,
here,
but you're saying that the fact that we've gone from 48,000 people in 1930, whatever it was, to 40,000 people now. There are peaks and valleys and everything. And,
you're wrong.
We're working
when
very
businesses
we're
leave
working very
an empty
hard
building,
towards trying to bring people into Groton, and we understand. And that's what we're working towards. And then the council and the town, and we're doing a good job. And the people who are in those positions, your Paige Bronk and John, and our new town manager John Bird, and the council entirely is pulling it together, and they're making moves and they're making things happen. And so you can't, I can't. You want to talk about more than 9 years ago? We can. You know, the fact that the town manager changed is a big move on our part, and you know, we're working towards it. So, you know, the budget is made up of the schools and the town. And schools were cut 1.6 million from last year. School was closed 5 years early. The impact on the town was very difficult for Pleasant Valley students. And I think that the school did a fantastic job of you know, like softening the blow to the students and to the teachers.
But you don't control schools. So
no, I don't, but we do control the money that is given to them.
Well, you do at the end.
And we want to make sure that it's unprecedented that it was cut that much. And the impact to the people, again, aside from the Pleasant Valley, was that we're living through it. And you know, I think that look at the Republican Council, and that's the result.
Let's go back to quickly here. I don't want to dwell on it. To number 12, Frank. Okay, the mill rate chart. Mill rate says it all. Okay, you can talk about anything you want. You, as a Groton resident, you're seeing that. Okay, that's the cumulative. The
yeah,
one
but that doesn't. I'm not sure what that means. So you're the math warden. You got to tell me what that means, because if I open up anything that the town managers have given me,
it's not the chart I asked for. Number 12.
Well, that
Frank.
one's even scarier because it goes up.
Frank.
9%.
Number 12. Town of Groton mill rate. Okay.
All right.
All right. You understand that? You voted on every one of these.
Now I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Of course I understand
You
it.
voted on every one of these. This is what, and that's what I'm going to end with. That's what the citizens see. So you can talk about not going up. You've gone up tremendously.
But Gretchen, I'll say it again. A mill is just over $3 million. We built in a $5 million cut because the governor said he was going to cut us $21.5 million. We knew that probably wouldn't be the right number, but we decided to go with 5. If you put that $5 million back in of lost revenue, that mill rate would go down.
We've got the numbers. I guess you didn't watch my first show. I gave the percentage of what the 5% or $5 million is worth, okay? I gave them all the numbers.
Yeah, well, the mill rate would have gone, I take that back, the mill rate would have gone up less than 1%, I believe. But the fact of the matter is that you can call it, slice it, dice it any way you want to. Revenue down from the state, spending down in the town, down in the Board of Ed, and the result is the mill rate going up. That's the bottom line.
Let's go to chart number 14. Okay. Now our 14,
this one, I don't
please.
like this one.
14, please. Okay. Now, when I went around the world turning companies around, you know, companies that were going in bankruptcy, some of them, okay? And we would buy them, the Disney family, very wealthy people, and they send me there to go figure out how do we turn them around. And these are in business, turnaround business, are called the ABCs of turnarounds, okay? Authenticity, boldness, and commitment, okay? So let me go through each of them. Explain what they mean. And Groton is a turnaround project, any way you look at it, okay? Authenticity means you face the issues head on, no matter how distasteful they may be, okay? And I think you're hearing examples here of we do this fluff stuff, but we don't pay attention to, you heard about Balfour Beatty, nobody's doing anything. You heard now about Oddfellows. You hear why all the excuses, not why they don't get a break, because it's been in existence since 1893. Okay, so authentic means to help the citizens of Groton first. It means that we have to do, and I know the mayor agrees with some of this, we got to do economic development. And I want to bring up, we're in competition with our neighbors. This is something that I don't know if the people of Groton and the Groton government understand that. There's almost only so much investment dollars out there. And there's not enough to go around to every community. And I don't know if you even realize that. So we have to compete with other towns. Also, you and I have had discussion. An example, Amtrak station. There's talk about moving, the station from New London to Groton. You said, well, we'll lose the aquarium. Look, this is survival of the fittest, okay? And the aquarium is in financial trouble as far as I know. So if we don't have our hub that connects us to New York and Boston, you think it's getting quiet in Groton now. Wait till that happens, okay?
So you want to get rid of the aquarium that draws, I don't know.
I didn't say
I heard
that.
the number.
I did not say that.
You did just say that. 2 million plus people
I did not
to the
say
region
that.
a
No,
year.
I care about Groton. You are not the mayor of Stonington. The aquarium is in Groton.
Wait a minute.
And you are not the mayor
Wait a minute.
of we don't have county governments. We don't have,
We brought a town manager in who has experience in county government.
Right,
Why do you think we
let's
did
hope.
that?
Yeah, but his county was only a $25 million budget.
You had 12 counties.
Yeah, but it was only a 25, it's a tiny, tiny amount of people there. There's more elk. I've been where he comes from. There's more elk there than people. And I don't the guy, I don't know him overly well. Let's give the guy a chance. He's not a subject tonight.
All right.
You hired him, fine. But I'm bringing up here the authenticity, which means you work for your citizens, your voters.
Yes.
Okay?
We agree on
You don't
that.
work for Stonington.
No.
You don't work for other towns. You are our mayor. You look out for us. There is only so much. There's only so much money out there, okay?
Who do you think I work for? I'm afraid to ask.
I'm
Of
not
course I work for the people.
I brought her
and I
name
get
up
paid
a few
a
times.
hefty sum for that.
Now, part of authenticity. You get a job with Groton, you always have a job for life. That's how it was under the predecessor of he never laid anybody off. I go to Nashua, New Hampshire.
He eliminated 50 positions in 2003. How can you say he eliminated 50?
Due to poor performance? No.
I don't know.
No,
But
never.
50 positions.
He kept Michael Murphy here. You want me to talk?
You want to go into that? Really?
You want to talk? Well,
you got a show we're talking about the future, and you
kept
want to harp on that?
I'm going to say, in the old days, when the go-go years, when things were good here, we had a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
We had Michael Murphy, probably, if you asked me who brought Groton down the worst of this town, you probably think I would say Mark Ofinger. It would be...
I wouldn't even venture a guess on anything in your brain, Gretchen. I wouldn't...
So number 2 of the ABC is being bold with actionable ideas, okay? Tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of studies have been done that sit in the town hall basement, and the vast majority of it has never been acted upon, okay? We are the kings of studies. We did a Camoin study, cost us a lot of money, and nothing in there was earth-shattering or things that nobody already knew. There are many people who live here with a lot of business experience. Why don't we utilize them? And I'm going to bring up here...
Like you.
Yes, that's right.
I think a lot of the things that you're doing are wonderful.
Well,
I
thank
think
you.
that the Balfour Beatty is, I think that there was a lot of history about it, and you're opening some eyes, and I think we're taking a second look, and we're
Good.
trying to work with the town. So, yes, we're willing to listen to anybody, really. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not anybody, but most anybody.
So, bold and actionable items. And, we have only so much legislative time. You agree with that, right?
Yeah, it's very hard to get things done.
That's right. You went and cut one council meeting out, for what reason I don't know. You have these special sessions now to take their place, but nobody knows if they're going to be put on TV or not.
Valid point. I think that, well,
Okay.
first off, we cut the second regular council meeting. We felt we didn't need 2 a month, and to be honest, that elimination of that meeting has provided us time to do other special meetings. With your point about the special meetings not being broadcast, it was brought to my attention about the charter revision discussion that we had was a special meeting.
Right, exactly.
And it should have been televised. And I
Yes.
think that was a mistake on our part, and you live and you learn. But I will say that everything that was discussed in that meeting was broadcast the week before. So if all the discussions that we had were done the week before, you can watch it on Access TV and see all of it in its entirety. And the the meeting that was not televised was really just voting on the things that we had discussed. So, point taken.
Well-
Always willing to live and learn, and I will
Okay.
make sure that the meetings that are supposed to be will be.
Okay, bold and actionable ideas. I was at the meeting. This was the last council, I believe. Maybe it wasn't. I think it was. And I had a company come down who was looking to, you wanted, that's when you hired Camoin. They were going before you. They came from Hartford. And you were talking about the statue of John Kelly, which way you should face the statue.
Okay.
Okay? And we had these people there, Camoin, not Camoin, what was their name?
The statue people.
No, the statue people were there. No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about they were brokers / consultants for real estate, okay? Goldman and York.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
And they sat there for hours. Well, they had to listen to us, you folks, arguing about which way John Kelly's head should face.
Yeah. Was I
okay?
mayor then?
You were on the council.
I was on the council, but I wasn't
Okay.
mayor, right? Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't think I was.
So,
Well, I know I was.
But this is an example
Yeah.
of we have to start separating out what's important and
Yes.
not important. And
Yes.
this goes towards legislative time.
Yes.
And I'm going to, in the future, refer this to the John Kelly syndrome, okay? So remember
Okay.
that.
All
I'm
right.
going to coin
Can I
that.
use it in council
Okay.
too?
You can.
All right.
Okay? You can say, when they start getting off on a track on what's fluff, there's a lot of fluff. I care about what puts food in people's
I think
mouths.
I wouldn't disagree that there was fluff. I think we have less fluff now. I do.
Okay.
I
Well,
think
you're
we're
the
getting
mayor.
more focused. Yeah, well, exactly.
And you put things on the agenda,
Yes,
okay? And you
yes.
control things,
Yes,
okay?
less
Right.
fluff.
You didn't say that when we were controlling. I wanted you to talk, but you didn't say it. We got to get to what puts food in people's mouths,
Yes.
okay? Jobs, that kind of stuff. We got to get rid of. I knew John Kelly. I'm old enough. He was a high school teacher when I was at
Yes.
Fitch. Shows how old I was. John Kelly would have laughed at that meeting and said, "Get on to talking to Goldman, New York."
Maybe
Because
you recall. I don't recall. But how did the discussion get started? What was
What
the
discussion?
the John Kelly facing the right ways discussion? Was it brought up by Jim Roy, who was really instrumental in getting
No,
the
you
statue
had
there?
people there, and you were deciding which way to put the statue at the plot there in
Right.
Mystic.
So
And you went on and on.
and how long will the statue be there?
Mark Off. Truthfully, I don't.
Forever.
Who cares?
It'll be there forever.
How long would somebody like Gamoin, who would maybe invest millions here? I think that's more important to Groton than which way John Kelly would face.
All right.
Okay. And you kept those people sitting there for hours, literally hours.
Oh, you mean they were waiting to talk to us while we were there?
Yes.
Well, I wasn't the mayor.
So
I
have a
couldn't
little
do
more
anything about it.
sensitivity to.
Yes.
You understand? We're in competition with other towns, okay? And we need to attract investors here. So
Mm-hmm.
guess what? It's no longer the days that Mark Oeffinger thought that everybody just comes to Groton because it's Groton are over. And other towns are beating us out. East Lyme is beating us out, okay? And I'm
We
gonna,
know that, but that's been happening, and you can't lose sight of the fact that we're working. We're working towards it. The council has put money towards the economic development, and we're making strides.
Okay. Time is of essence.
And-
Let's go to letter C. Let's get back.
How much time we have left?
Okay, commitment. Commitment, this is going to be an imperfect road. You know that. It's going to have its ups and downs. You went through a thing, and I'm not going to go into it with Concor. We'll talk about it in an economic development
All
show.
right.
Okay? And that was a developer who came here. He wasted a year of our time. I told the town not to get involved. They did. And we hopefully learned some lessons. Okay?
We made a commitment to them.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have.
All right, well, but you're
Okay,
talking about commitment. We made a commitment.
And you learn later that was not productive, okay? For
Okay.
many reasons that I warned. I particularly warned the
Town manager?
the town manager, right? I said, don't get involved with them, okay? I knew that they were not real. I knew this. I did my due diligence, okay? And you did. Commitment is making a change and using change to force a better situation. Okay? For example, a lot of people call me, they're very angry about we never go to bid for the town attorney. Unbelievable. You know, if you built a house,
Yes.
you wouldn't just go to one builder.
No.
You would go and talk to a whole bunch of them. And even if you go to the same, suppose you build 2 houses,
Yeah.
and you like this builder,
Yeah.
but your second house, you're still going to go to talk to different people because you want to keep that guy honest.
Well,
You want
say
to know if
build,
the price
let's
is
say you
right.
build one house a year,
Right.
and you do it for 20 years or whatever. Let's say 15 years. And the rate that the builder gave you, the work was quality, and the rate that the builder gave you in year 1 was very similar to the rate, if not the same rate that they gave you in year 15, and they're giving you the same house, they're the same people, you know them, you trust them. Every 2 years, the council talks about the attorney, and they can change it if they want to, and that's where it's
Well,
at.
maybe
So-
rates go down. Okay? We're in tough times right now. Prices are going down
Well,
on some
but
things.
a rate that's the same for 15 years is like a rate that's going down, I think.
Well, why don't you go out and talk to other lawyers, other
We
law
have.
firms, and see?
We've looked out
And
there.
let them put a bid in. I don't believe you've gotten any other bids.
No, we didn't go out for bid, but
Right,
we know
well,
what they're going. We know what their rate is.
people
Their
are
rate is
upset about
$150. Well, again, I respect the fact that they're upset about it. You can be upset about it, but you're tasking us, the council, with choosing an attorney. And we look at the facts, we look at how they go, we look how we deal with them in meetings, we look how they work for us, and we chose to go with them. If you don't like it,
Well, they
for
didn't
them-
do a very good job in writing the Concora contract. I won't go through it all with
Okay.
you. They did a horrible job.
And you've read everything
Okay,
they've
they
done?
sued me on my house getting burned down. That was terrible advice. They shouldn't have done that. And they did a terrible job in reviewing Balfour Beatty. In my first show, I put all the books
Yep.
on this very table. I don't see where they've done such a great job, okay?
Well-
and I think you should look at other attorneys. You can go back to the same one,
Okay.
but you should look
Well,
at
we do-
others to keep them honest.
We look at, you're right, we don't go in depth,
Right.
but we do look at rates of what attorneys are charging. And plus, the fact of the matter is, there's not that many, unless you want to go look and start going to Hartford to get them. There's not that many attorneys, firms.
Well, then
that,
look.
But I'm just telling
And
you.
you're a politician. It helps politically, too,
Yeah,
to prove to people that you are looking.
Again.
Okay?
I'm a politician who is paid nothing. I have nothing in it but what's best for the town. If and I'm making that decision based on what's best for the town. And a $150 rate for an attorney that's in New London, a firm that's in New London, for me, is good. If I'm going to have to go out, I'm going to have to go out far away. And quite frankly, an attorney a firm in Hartford is not going to give us the rate that they give us.
Well, I believe there's other attorneys.
Okay.
There's other local firms, and I think you should
Well,
look.
I think the charter is looking at that too, I believe.
Okay.
But when we have a new council come in, it will be looked at again.
All right. I'm going to say a list very quickly
Okay.
here. Okay?
You want the first word that comes into my head?
No.
All right.
I went and watched on Groton Television, you all gave a 5-minute
Yep.
presentation
Yeah.
on what
Little selling marketing thing, yeah.
what your accomplishments
Yeah.
are. So I'm going to say them all. I kind of
All mine?
conglomerated, no, more than yours.
All right.
So let me get through the list without being interrupted, all right? You can add on to the end if there's another one. that I
I'm sure
missed.
you'll be comprehensive. Go ahead.
So you started the process of combining the planning and zoning commissions. You started an airport enterprise zone. I think that's always existed, but you started a pilot for the Oddfellows. We've been through that.
Yeah.
You did a tax payment program for Branford Manor. You hired a new town manager. You did the 2020 school building program. For God's sake, where's the rest? Knowing Public School, this is the one I love. You extended it by 4 years, when we already talked about it, the Knowing School Garden program. You bought body cams. You did cost sharing for dispatch with the city of Groton, but,
We're working on that, but
Okay.
it's not done.
all right. Let me tell you, I did the price for dispatch for Balfour Beatty. It's nothing. It's very
Yeah.
little money.
Yeah.
Okay? Big deal. You started a charter revision commission. You're marketing town-owned properties in Groton. You're beginning that. You did the water taxi. You're giving You're giving
Look
them.
like you're getting a headache.
This one is so funny to me. We have a Thames Street in the city of Groton. There's nothing there. It's like bombed out looking. There's nothing there. And you're going to have a taxi going to London. It's actually humorous.
It's going to spur an economic development.
Well, it doesn't work that way. Just because you have a boat going across the river doesn't mean people are going to
Yeah, I know
invest millions
Mayor
there.
Galbraith worked very hard to get that taxi, and we supported it fully.
Okay, well,
And
I wouldn't put that high on the accomplishment list. And you increased wages from, you just did this, I believe, 2 to 2.5%, and you've done that for many years.
Okay.
Yes, I looked at it. So, did I leave any out? Those are all the things that you're claiming your council did. I think it's pretty much.
Those are right from the brochure. I would say that you didn't leave anything out from the brochure.
No, I didn't even see but I got this all off of your TV thing.
You had to go back a couple of times.
Okay.
I probably had to write it down.
Councilor Morton, I watched all
Yeah.
of you. She's the only one that got it right in her presentation. She says we have to wean ourselves, and that was what my last show was all about. Weaning ourselves from the state money. You should be doing your budget without that even being available to us, okay? That's how you should think, okay? So,
Do you know how much we got in state money last year? Do you know how much?
How much did you get?
Yeah, we got 27.
25.
No, we got 31 million if you do
Right.
state general
Well,
government and
25
state
million
education.
according to the superintendent.
Well,
Right.
I got 27.
And you're
well,
gonna-
I'm sorry, 26. But so close to over 30.
And right now, if you don't get a budget, you're going to get 7.5.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm telling you, the
Okay.
legislators took care of it. But to your point, okay, we can try to wean ourselves off of state money, and the citizens would be very disappointed to have us make up 30 million. Our mill rate went up, as you said, whatever it was, 2 point whatever percent, cutting it by 5 million, and you want us to start off by cutting it 30 million. I don't think the citizens of
Okay.
the town would be that high on
Let
that.
me go through.
Would you
This
agree
is
with
where
that?
I'm going to put
30
my
million?
agree on.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to put, this is me.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's just your
Analyzing
opinion.
Groton.
Okay.
This is like I've done for multi-billion-dollar companies.
Okay.
Okay. Analyzing Groton. I've
So
picked
we
out
could-
7.
people have to pay
7
top dollar
passed.
for this.
Yeah. If you hired me, you'd have to pay
Well, I'm
top dollar.
going to take notes. I won't have to hire you.
7 pass. I picked the number 7 because we need all the luck we can get. Okay? Number 1, combine the services of the town, city, in
Can we go into one at a time?
in Groton Long Point.
Because let's talk about that.
That's number one.
Okay, but here's the thing. We talk about that. If you watch, we're high on looking into creating efficiencies, and the city. You know, you talk to the mayor of the city. They have a government. They don't want to combine. We're looking at cost sharing. I think they're open to that. I give them credit for that. I think the town manager is looking into that. But for you to say combine the services, it just isn't going to happen. You can say it all you want,
Well,
but that
they-
has to
then,
come. It has to come from the city, inside the city and
I
out.
know the law
Then why
very
do you
well.
say it?
They
Because it's
either
a-
can do it by a petition of the citizens of the city, not the town, or they can do it themselves, their town council.
Yeah.
I fully
Yeah, so
understand that.
for you to
But you
say-
can work on combining services. And I agree, you got to struggle with Mayor Hedrick, okay? But I believe it can be done.
I mean, Mayor Hedrick, a lot of passion. His heart's in the right
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
He's trying to do what he thinks is right, and I respect that. And we need to try to work together and do some cost sharing, and make
But
strides where we can.
The reason I'm saying these, I want you to reflect on the things that you say are successes, their impact on these 7 things.
Okay.
But we got to move. We don't have much time left. Get rid of the fire district. I know you have no control of that, but you can plant the
You're
seed.
preaching to the choir.
We have 10 fire
Yes,
districts.
we have more equipment than we need.
Eliminate the social services department and combine with Norwich as all the other towns have done.
Well,
okay?
the other towns aren't as big as us.
No mention of this in your
Yeah, but they're-
goals.
but-
You don't mention.
But it's not a goal of mine.
You're doing fluff. All your things that
What's
you're
the
passing
budget of
is
the Human
fluff.
Services Department?
I don't know.
I'm going to say it's
It's not that. It's-
$250,000.
Okay, but you got
And there
all
are
the
people-
retirements that go with that.
Yeah, but
okay?
there are
A lot
people
of
in
money.
Groton who need that, and you can't just take the citizens who are getting
You know what?
needed services.
Did you watch my first show? We
I
are
watched some of it.
like a one of those fly traps attraction to people who want those
I
services.
heard you say that. That's
okay?
not true.
Well, we are, because
You-
I've talked to
that's
people
your-
in the neighboring
Okay,
towns.
so you talked to,
Okay.
yeah.
Number 4, and you get
right.
Balfour Beatty, Oddfellows, and Knowing School
Okay.
garden properties onto the grand list, as they should be, okay?
Pipe dream.
Economic development. 80% of those leaving Groton every night to stay and spend their money
Agreed.
here.
We agree with that.
Okay, and I want to talk about leadership quickly here. Bring up number 15A, please.
I want a mayor grade. What do you think, a C?
15A. Well, we can talk about that at the end.
All right.
15A, please.
C plus?
I don't even know if you know this. Your economic development team is so good. I was shocked when I saw this. This is going in Waterford. One of our big goals that I've been spouting is to get a surgical center here.
Yeah.
Well, the chances of that are pretty
We
slim
have one
now.
right now.
Pretty slim.
But we have
No,
one.
we don't have.
I just was at it. Pequod. It's
Yeah.
it said surgical center. Right on the, I drove into the parking lot. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
They don't do major orthopedic work like's being done here. You don't know what you're talking about, Mayor. With due respect, you don't know what you're talking about.
I just know I drove
Okay?
into a building that said surgery center.
Okay, this is brand new. Go to the next exhibit. Okay, this is not even opened yet. And our team was not even aware of this. I brought this up to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Waterford. Once this opens, we're not going to get anything because our needs here have been fulfilled. And that's sad. And our team should have been on top of this, and we should have been considered for this center. Okay, and I'm very, very disappointed.
You know
in
when the talks, when it was initiated, what was the background? Was it
About
1 year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago?
About 2 years ago,
Okay.
okay? Our planner was here. He's been here for 3 years. He should have known about it. When I brought this up to them, their jaws dropped. They didn't even know.
Where's it at?
This
I
is
know the
right
town,
by
but
the where you go into the movie theater in Waterford there, okay? On the
Lot of
back
land there.
entrance.
I got you. Off of,
Not near Lowe's and off
Yep.
of Route.
the highway there,
yeah.
the fast road, not the
You
95.
go by
but
the mall and then you turn left
Yes.
past the mall.
Yes.
And it's right there on the right. And I'm really
Crossroads,
disappointed.
right.
I'm really disappointed.
Where do you think
okay?
that should have gone in Groton? Where would you put it?
Should go on the William Seeley School property. Should be part of that development because you want it near the highway.
All right.
Okay? And now it's an uphill battle because we got to convince that there's people that there's still enough need
But that,
to
if it
get
went
that
at William
again.
Seeley, that's not mixed use, right? That's not.
Yes, it is. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes. Can go in the property
there's
in
no
the front
retail,
of William
then.
Seeley. Okay? It's right off. You want that where it's convenient to get to it. Okay? Number 6, need for mid to upper income housing have met, we've already met low income housing quota. But that job's been made very difficult because of what we got going on at Balfour Beatty. Because they sent the rents, developers are having a hard time with that. Okay, they have to make certain numbers, and when the rents are set, they got to pay property tax.
Yep.
So that you've made life difficult for them. 7, combine services with other towns in southeastern Connecticut, like the social services
Yep.
now.
We're working on that. Did you hear me on the radio this morning? No. We had on Jim Butler from COG. They're doing a joint study, 22 communities, plus the Navy, plus the Coast Guard, plus the tribes, looking at a joint study of looking at cost sharing and services.
Okay.
Extensive study.
Okay. No, I didn't hear it.
Well,
I know Jim Butler. Okay. So I don't see in the things that I
my
brought
accomplishments?
up of the accomplishments
Yes.
from all of you 9 speaking.
Yes.
I don't see how they relate to these 7 big items. This is not fluff. This is not John Kelly,
Yeah.
which way to put his
Yeah,
statue.
that's where the rubber
Okay.
meets the road.
This is where the rubber hits the
Yes.
road. And that's what the citizens want you
Yes,
to
but
talk
we
about.
can't. So here's the thing: we can't claim all of the things that you're putting there on that list are I think for the most part, short of a couple of numbers, are things that we're actively working on and the town is working on, and they're not accomplishments because they haven't been done yet. You can only list an accomplishment.
But you don't list them. You say you started the joining of the planning and zoning committee. Well, you could say you started working on these things. You don't list them as your accomplishments.
Because I think you're getting a little bit technical, but I don't disagree with you that there are things that we are focusing on. Some of them, but they're not, they're more in the discussion. And I think if you look at you were talking about the videos that you watched, there is talk about economic development, and there's more to do, and we're working on it. And I'm not going to go claiming something as an accomplishment that we haven't accomplished yet.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Mayor
you.
Flax, I think it was more civilized than I thought it would be.
You're a fine host,
Thank you.
except you put words in my mouth sometimes. But
The show is going to repeat on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 and Sunday at 8. It's going to be on YouTube as of Friday. I'm going to appeal for help again. I want to hear if you want these shows to continue. We got to keep an eye on these guys. Maybe
you'll
the
have me
mayor
back.
might even come back
Sure.
on again. That would be great. Okay. The next show is on November 2nd. It's hoped that the Democrats are as brave as our mayor was to come on with me. Let's see.
I'm sure they'll be on.
I hope they don't back out. We're not going to get the phones open tonight. I'm trying to do another show before the election where I can just talk and get calls. I think it's important that you can call in. We're going to have a scrolling list at the end here, as I said, and for a bit of humor, we're going to be having some background music, and if you don't vote, I think you're going to understand that background music. So let's see you. Please vote. Okay, I'm sure the mayor will be in agreement with that on November 7th.
Yes, absolutely. People need to do their duty and get out and
Right.
vote on November 7th.
Extremely important, and we'll see you on November 7th. And let's continue to shake up Groton. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the 7th. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Gretchen.
Thank you.
All right.